Picture a traditional bank vault. You've got those massive 3-foot thick steel
Oh
doors.
yeah, the complex time locks, the armed guards standing out front.
Exactly. For decades. I mean, if you wanted to rob that bank, you needed physical tools, you needed a crew, maybe some dynamite.
A fast getaway car.
Right. And a lot of nerve. It was visceral. You could physically see the threat trying to come through the front door.
But today, I mean, that physical vault is practically a museum piece.
Yeah, because the real vaults are made of code, and the modern thieves, they aren't, wearing ski masks anymore.
No, they're not. They're deploying algorithms from half a world away.
Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we have a really fascinating mission for you. We are taking you straight to the front lines of the modern, high-tech battlefield of financial crime.
And we're looking at how professional defenders are actually fighting back. Because this landscape has shifted entirely, and the speed of that change it's just staggering.
It really is. We are going to explore threats that are actively being deployed by state-sponsored hackers and, global syndicates right now.
We're no longer dealing with simple smash and grab tactics. We're dealing with highly sophisticated, invisible networks.
Right. And to understand this, we're looking at a very specific, incredibly revealing source today. It's the official syllabus and course breakdown for the ICA Specialist Certificate in Evolving Risks in Financial Crime Technology.
Specifically, the Level 2 Specialist course. It's offered by the International Compliance Association.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because at first glance, you might be thinking, a course syllabus?
Yeah.
Really?
I know, it sounds a bit dry.
Yeah. But this isn't just some dry academic list of reading materials. This document is essentially a real-time roadmap of the actual existential threats facing the global financial system today.
It really is. The core theme running through this entire framework is the tension of an ever-evolving regulatory environment, and that environment is colliding head-on with cutting-edge technology.
It maps out this relentless cat-and-mouse game, right?
Yeah, exactly. As soon as compliance operations build a better mousetrap, the criminal methodologies, well, they advance to bypass it entirely.
And to understand the defense, we have to start by looking at the attack. I mean, the training doesn't pull any punches. It explicitly outlines the modern criminal toolkit.
Yeah, the syllabus covers existing and emerging threats. We're talking about deepfake fraud, the complexities of money laundering through cryptocurrency.
Digital assets, navigating the dark web.
Right, and a concept the course specifically calls adversarial AI.
Okay, I want to stop right there on adversarial AI because I think we need to make sense of the actual mechanics here.
Sure.
We constantly hear about AI in a positive light. It's helping companies write emails faster or organize their spreadsheets. I'm trying to picture how the bad guys are weaponizing it.
It's a great question.
Instead of AI just being a tool that helps write a mass phishing email, is adversarial AI more like a digital disguise? Like a thief actively trying to confuse a security camera by shining lasers into the lens, rather than just trying to sneak past it in the shadows.
Well, what's fascinating here is that while the laser analogy touches on the disruption aspect, the reality is actually much more insidious.
Really? How so?
It's not just blinding the camera. Adversarial AI feeds the camera a continuous, perfectly normal loop of an empty hallway. So the system doesn't even realize it's under attack.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's about data manipulation on a microscopic level.
So it's actively tricking the underlying logic of the defense system.
Precisely. Financial institutions use machine learning models to monitor millions of transactions a second. They're looking for anomalous patterns.
Like a sudden massive wire transfer to a high-risk jurisdiction.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Adversarial AI is employed by criminals to probe those defense models. The criminal AI sends thousands of tiny, seemingly benign microtransactions to map out exactly where the bank's threshold of suspicion lies.
Oh, that is so clever. Terrifying, but clever.
Right. Once it learns the exact parameters of the bank's detection algorithm, it engineers the illicit transaction to look perfectly normal. Just slips right under the radar.
It's essentially an AI trained specifically to outsmart another AI.
Yes, and that points to a massive shift in what the industry calls proactive risk management.
Because you can't just react anymore.
Exactly. The syllabus stresses that professionals must learn to detect, respond to, and anticipate these threats. Understanding the dark web, or knowing exactly how audio deepfakes are generated to clone a CEO's voice.
Which happens.
It happens all the time. But understanding that isn't just a job for the IT department anymore. It is now a mandatory foundational skill for financial compliance.
Which means a compliance officer today needs to understand the technical architecture of a cryptocurrency mixer just as well as they understand traditional banking regulations.
That is the new baseline.
Okay.
You cannot manage the risk if you don't deeply understand the mechanism of the technology facilitating the crime.
Because the traditional methods of spotting a fraudulent transaction completely fall apart when the transaction has been designed by a machine, right? Designed specifically to look benign to your human eyes.
Yes, exactly.
That makes total sense. But here's where it gets really interesting for me. Because criminals aren't just stopping at today's technology.
No, they're always looking ahead.
Right. And this ICA syllabus is designed to keep professionals future ready, which means it moves right past current headlines and dives straight into emerging platforms.
The source explicitly lists future technology risks that students have to master.
Yeah, we are talking about spatial computing, wearables, the metaverse, robotics, and quantum computing. Now, I have to be honest and push back a little here.
Okay, let's hear it.
I look at wearables like my smartwatch tracking my daily steps or the metaverse, and I think of video games. I think of entertainment.
Sure, that's how most people see them.
I'm struggling to see the global crime syndicate angle here.
Yeah.
Are criminals really going to be laundering millions of dollars through a virtual reality headset or a fitness tracker?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, it becomes clear why these are prominently featured on a financial crime syllabus. It's not about criminals literally handing over bags of virtual cash in a cartoon video game. It's about what these technologies represent. Entirely new, highly porous frontiers of data collection and asset transfer.
Walk me through that. How does a headset become a vulnerability?
Think about what spatial computing actually is. Devices that blend the digital and physical worlds don't just act as screens near your eyes. They map the exact dimensions of your living room.
Oh, right, because they have to know where the walls are.
Exactly. They track your pupil dilation, they record your microexpressions and your physical gait. They collect vast, unprecedented amounts of biometric and behavioral data.
Wow.
If a criminal intercepts that data, they aren't just stealing a password, they are stealing the biometric blueprint of your identity.
Which is increasingly being used to authorize high-value financial transactions.
Exactly. So the wearable device itself is the new lock, and the biometric data is the key they're trying to steal.
That is wild. And then what about the metaverse?
Well, consider decentralized, borderless virtual environments. Imagine a criminal buys a highly coveted piece of virtual real estate or a rare digital artifact using illicit cryptocurrency.
Okay, so dirty money goes in.
Right. Then they turn around and sell that digital land to a completely legitimate buyer for clean fiat currency.
Oh, I see.
The money is now laundered through a virtual asset, moving across borders instantaneously, completely outside of traditional banking infrastructure.
That is so fast and so hard to trace.
That is why the course emphasizes that professionals need to adapt to innovation with strategic clarity. It's not about fearing the tech, but assessing new technologies to support an organization's risk posture.
Okay, but then there's quantum computing, which the course also covers. And if we think of traditional encryption like the security protecting our online banking like a standard combination lock, a normal computer tries to guess the combination one number at a time, right?
Right, which would take thousands of years.
Thousands of years. But a quantum computer can try every single combination simultaneously. The vault door just falls off.
That is the exact threat model. Quantum computing has the theoretical potential to instantly shatter the cryptographic algorithms that secure the entire global financial system. Instantly. Now, the course isn't teaching people to panic about quantum processing. It's teaching them how to assess these risks.
So practically, this means you aren't just an IT guy installing a software patch.
No, not at all.
You're sitting in the boardroom telling the CEO why launching a new digital product might violate tomorrow's regulations or expose the bank to a vector they haven't even considered.
It's about anticipating the vulnerability before the technology goes mainstream.
But man, listening to this array of offensive weapons, from deepfakes and adversarial AI to quantum decryption, it is genuinely terrifying. It sounds like the bad guys have an infinite budget and zero rules.
It can definitely feel that way.
Which brings us to the shield. Having established the terrifying arsenal available to financial criminals, how does the industry actually fight back against an algorithm that is designed to outsmart them?
They fight fire with fire. The course dedicates significant focus to how professionals can harness RegTech, which is regulatory technology and FinTech. If the criminals are using AI to build a better disguise, Compliance officers can't just rely on human eyes to spot them. They have to build their own AI to see through it.
The framework notes that these innovative technologies are used to enhance compliance operations, improve monitoring, and streamline reporting.
Yes, exactly.
But if I can play devil's advocate for a second here, if we just throw more technology at a technology problem, doesn't that just create a messy, never-ending arms race?
That's a very fair concern.
Right. Like, how does a compliance professional avoid the trap of just buying the newest, shiniest RegTech software, plugging it in, and blindly hoping for the best?
This raises an important question, and the training actively addresses it. The goal of this certification isn't just to teach someone how to operate a new software dashboard.
Okay, what is the goal then?
The objective is to give them the capability to advise confidently on risk and innovation, to brief senior stakeholders and influence strategic decisions. Because technology alone is never the total solution.
Right, because an arms race based purely on software is one you will eventually lose. The attackers only have to be right once, while the defenders have to be right every single time.
Exactly the problem. That's why a massive part of the defense, according to the syllabus, is the ability to interpret global regulatory shifts.
Okay, so understanding how regulators themselves are responding to technological change is the real shield.
Exactly. For instance, if regulators begin requiring real-time AI monitoring of all cross-border digital asset transfers, a professional needs to anticipate that mandate.
Ah, so it's not just about what the computer can do. It's about applying human insight to anticipate what compliance expectations will look like tomorrow, not just today.
Right. You use RegTech to execute the strategy, but the human interpretation of regulatory shifts is what designs the strategy in the first place.
So the human element is the strategic anchor. You are using the technology to scale your intelligence, not replace it.
Exactly. You couldn't have said it better.
So knowing the mechanisms of the threats, the adversarial AI, the spatial biometric theft, and knowing the defenses, like the RegTech, the regulatory anticipation, that's all crucial.
Very crucial.
But it's totally useless without a structured way to actually acquire this expertise. I mean, how do people learn this?
This leads directly to the mechanics of the ICA Specialist Certificate itself.
Right. And the barrier to entry to learn this isn't some multi-year, tens of thousands of dollars academic degree. The logistics laid out here are incredibly pragmatic.
Which really shows how urgently the industry needs to deploy this knowledge. It requires rigorous, validated training, but it has to be accessible to the people already working on the front lines.
Exactly. The source lays out the mechanics of this training ground very clearly. First, this is a level 2 specialist qualification.
Right, and completing it yields 20 ICA CPD hours. That's continuing professional development.
And you earn a very specific professional designation. Spec, Cert, Risk and Crime Tech.
That's a mouthful, but it carries a lot of weight.
It does. And what really stands out about the format is how adaptable it is. A professional can complete it entirely at their own pace, taking anywhere from 4 weeks to 2 months.
Which is great for people working full-time.
Yeah, and the assessment isn't some grueling multi-day ordeal. It's a 1-hour online multiple-choice exam that you can take at literally any point during your studies.
With immediate results and a downloadable certificate right then and there, that structure speaks directly to the audience.
These are busy professionals.
Exactly. They're dealing with active threat alerts daily. They need flexibility to learn on their own time, but they also require strict credibility.
And speaking of credibility, the syllabus highlights that this certification is awarded in association with Alliance Manchester Business School at the University of Manchester.
So you are getting a heavy hit of academic rigor to ground the technological theory in established business principles.
Now, let's talk about access and costs, because the source is very transparent about this, and it highlights the truly global reach of the issue.
The pricing structure is very specific.
Right, for around $1,000 you can get certified. Specifically, the course fee is 730 British pounds, or 803 euros, or 949 US dollars.
And if you aren't already an ICA member, there's a mandatory 12-month membership fee added on.
Which is 185 pounds, 204 euros, or 241 US dollars, though group discounts apply, which is nice.
That membership component shouldn't be overlooked, though. Enrolling doesn't just give you a static PDF to read. It connects you to a vital network.
Yes, the source mentions you join an international community of over 30,000 members.
You get access to the ICA Learning Hub and weekly webinars covering the latest industry developments.
It really is a continuous training environment, which is totally necessary when the threat landscape is mutating weekly.
Absolutely.
I want to pull a specific quote from the source material that really struck me. A past graduate of this course said, I will recommend this course for any compliance professional who wants not only to tick boxes, but also to be future ready for the changing phase of FinCrime, financial services, and compliance.
Not only to tick boxes, that's a great phrase.
I love that phrase because let's be honest, from the outside looking in, compliance often gets stereotyped as this incredibly boring, bureaucratic, paper-pushing exercise.
Yeah, people think of it as just a cost center for a bank.
But this whole framework paints a picture of a highly dynamic, technologically advanced frontline defense.
It entirely reframes the profession. And there's another quote from a past student in the source that complements that perfectly.
Oh.
They describe the ICA as a center of competition with colleagues to assess knowledge and improve skills.
Wow, a center of competition.
Right. This isn't about passive learning or just meeting a minimum legal requirement. It's an active competitive drive to achieve what the course calls professional agility.
Professional agility, the ability to pivot just as fast as the syndicates do.
The entire purpose of this training is to transform a compliance officer from someone who simply follows established rules into a strategic advisor.
Someone who can look at the future of financial crime, whether that's data poisoning in an AI model or the weaponization of the metaverse, and confidently guide their institution through the storm.
Precisely.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener? We've covered a massive amount of ground in this deep dive.
We really have.
We started by looking at the immediate pressing threats in the modern criminal toolkit, how audio deepfakes are being used to spoof executives, and how adversarial AI is actively mapping and tricking defense algorithms by hiding in plain sight.
And we explored how the dark web and crypto mixers are functioning as the new offshore accounts.
Right. We then looked at the horizon risks and explored the actual mechanisms of tomorrow's threats, the technologies that are rapidly moving from the fringe to the mainstream.
Spatial computing stealing biometric blueprints.
The metaverse enabling borderless money laundering through virtual real estate, and the looming threat of quantum computing breaking traditional encryption.
Then we pivoted to the defense, how institutions are fighting back by building their own RegTech AI.
And more importantly, applying human insight to anticipate global regulatory shifts, rather than just engaging in a blind technological arms race.
Finally, we broke down the actual training ground, the ICA Level 2 Specialist Certificate, the logistics of acquiring it, and its mission to build genuine professional agility.
And if we connect all of this back to you, the listener, the takeaway is crucial. You might not be a compliance officer. You might never take this specific one-hour exam from the University of Manchester.
But the financial institutions that hold your savings, that process your mortgage, that manage your retirement, they are facing these exact evolving risks every single second of every day.
They are out there on this invisible battlefield on your behalf.
Knowing the realities of this battlefield, understanding that the threats have evolved from physical bank robbers with dynamite to adversarial algorithms and quantum decryption, it makes you a much more informed consumer.
And if you work in any tech-adjacent field, understanding how risk and innovation intersect is an invaluable perspective.
It fundamentally changes how you see the digital world around you.
Every new gadget, every new app is a potential new vector. Which brings us back to that image of the bank vault we started with. The vault is no longer physical. It's a digital fortress constantly under siege by invisible, highly intelligent weapons.
That's the reality of modern finance.
Which leaves me with one final thought I want you to mull over. If we are truly entering an era where adversarial AI and quantum computing are being used to commit financial crimes, while at the exact same time institutions are deploying their own AI and RegTech to autonomously detect those crimes, will the financial wars of the future be fought entirely by algorithms in the dark, with humans just left watching the scoreboard?
It is a chilling thought, and one we all need to be prepared for.
Something to think about the next time you tap your smartwatch to pay for a coffee. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.